You know, guys, in my first career as a sports reporter, the one thing that I learned from covering athletes and being in locker rooms and on the field around players, coaches, managers, etc., is that you always have to guard against overreacting to a particular situation. It's every bit as important as guarding against a letdown. And in my second career as a gambler and sports handicapper, I can tell you those two factors always come into play. In terms of overreaction, listen, you cannot necessarily let what happened yesterday affect how you play and wager and evaluate teams and personnel tomorrow or next week. You just can't. And I'll give you a couple of examples from a personnel standpoint. You know, a week and a half ago, everybody thought that Mark Sanchez was the greatest thing since sliced bread after he quarterbacked the Eagles from the win, replacing the injured Nick Foles 2 weeks ago at Houston, and after his performance on Monday night with Chip Kelly's high-powered offense in a rout of Carolina. Well, yesterday he goes to Lambeau, and you saw what happened. I don't think you're going to find many league pundits, league fans, definitely not Philadelphia fans, that would second that notion that he's the next great thing and a future star for the Eagles and entrenched at quarterback. But here's the thing, guys. It was one game. It was at Lambeau. It was a perfect storm for the Packers, who coming into yesterday's game at home had won 4 straight games at home this season, which they averaged over 41 points a game, and they just demolished Philadelphia. A perfect storm. Doesn't mean the Packers are that good. Doesn't mean the Eagles are that bad. In fact, when I look at the Packers, I keep thinking to myself, this is still the team that went to New Orleans less than a month ago and just got crushed by Drew Brees indoors 44-23. But let me just play devil's advocate for a second. In looking at that particular game yesterday and reading the box score and then looking at the Packers' remaining schedule, do you realize that this team could run the table very easily, barring any injuries? Because this game with Philadelphia yesterday was a middle of a stretch where they play 4-5 at home with the only road game at Minnesota, the same Vikings they beat in that Monday night or earlier this season when Christian Ponder started and they rolled to the blowout win in miserable weather. Yes, they do host the Patriots in the following week. But otherwise, what are the remaining road games? At Tampa Bay, at Buffalo, their home finale, the Detroit Lions, who they lost to in Detroit earlier this season, so you know they're going to come back and win that. So very conceivable that the Packers could run the table and be 6-0 and easily the number 1 seed in the NFC. But that doesn't mean the Packers are locked. Doesn't mean the Philadelphia Eagles, who were exposed yesterday defensively, are suddenly that bad of a team either. So you can't overreact. Often, however, you will find odds makers taking advantage of those overreactions when they post the numbers on the game because they realize that John Q. Public buys into it and they fall victim to that trap. And the odds makers set the trap in return for you. And that's what screws you, no pun intended. Listen, you also look at games like yesterday in terms of teams and their performances. The Broncos just no-showed yesterday against St. Louis. Couldn't run the ball, found themselves down 10-0 in the first quarter. I mean, the Rams that good? Props to Jeff Fisher for starting Shaun Hill, giving him his first start since the second week of the season, benching Austin Davis because Hill played a great game at quarterback. Again, are the Rams that good and the Broncos that bad? No, it was just one of those days. You also have to look at teams that could be in a possible letdown situation after yesterday's outcomes. And I think the team that you have to be most leery of next week, the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, hey, they're coming off the big home win against Seattle, and then they go to Oakland. The Raiders, last time they won a game, I think was the year I was born. Bottom line is this, however, the following week, who do the Chiefs play? Oh, they're at Arrowhead against the Denver Broncos. You talk about the perfect sandwich situation. Seattle win, at Oakland, home against Denver in revenge. Tough spot, not a game you want to touch next weekend. That doesn't mean you go out and bet the Raiders either as the big dog, but I'm just saying it's something that you have to be leery of. Listen, you're looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers game tonight with the Tennessee Titans, and, you know, Pittsburgh looked like they were just going to set all types of new offensive records with Ben Roethlisberger with his 12 TD passes the prior 2 games, part of a 3-game winning streak all at home for the Steelers. They go to the Jets last week, turnover. Mike Tomlin's team folds like a cheap suit, and the Jets, who had lost, 7 in a row, managed to win the game and really dominated play. Now you got the Steelers looking to rebound tonight at Tennessee. 6.5 to 7-point favorite. I'm going to break that game down for you in just a moment. Plus, I've got a number of basketball plays for you as well as free selections. One thing here, by the way, guys, This weekend, it was a phenomenal weekend for the various handicappers that I chose to give you their plays at huge discounted prices as they won a combined 8-1-1. One of those guys, Shawn Michaels. Tonight, his 100 dime Monday Night Lock of the Year, part number 3 on Tennessee Pittsburgh, your side. Matches his 100 dime winners that you've got in his half price play of the day selections the past 2 Mondays with Philly over Carolina and Indy over the New York Giants. 52, 25, and 3 roll with NFL 100 dime releases. Matches his 100 dime winner yesterday on Kansas City that you got for $39, a savings of $60 off the regular price, equals his 100 dime teaser winner the previous Sunday when the Packers and Broncos combined to win their 2 respective games by 65 points total. Strong as Wednesday's 100 dime college football winner with UMass over Ball State, and twice as strong as his 50 dime winner in Arkansas on Saturday. He is the number 1 winningest football handicapper here at the site over the past 5 years, making $10 bettors a little over $33,000. Today you save $50 on his Tennessee-Pittsburgh third straight Monday night winner by using coupon code SEAN, S-E-A-N. Jeff Benton going for winning day number 20 out of 27. AFC lock total, 50 dime winner number 31 out of 50. You get it for $9, saving $90 in the process tonight by using coupon code JEFF9. Of course, he had a great weekend. 5th ever 200 dime college football release of his career. Texas over Oklahoma State. 1-point road favorite, 28-7 on Saturday, which you got at a huge discount, just like tonight's play from a guy who has made $10 bettors over $24,000 since April. A couple of basketball plays, chief among them, Gabriel DuPont, third biggest college play of his career. Since he joined the site here last February 1st, he's made $10 bettors in college hoops over $3,500. Today, 75 dime play, Northwestern and Brown. You save $80. You get it for just $19 by using coupon code GABE19. GABE19. Now, let's talk about these games here tonight. First of all, in the NFL, as I said, the Steelers were a 5.5-point favorite yesterday. They're up to 6.5, 7 most places here. It's going to be a cold night in Nashville. Wind chills somewhere in the mid-teens. Obviously, the Steelers ain't going to bother them. They're built for this type of weather, right? Coming off that 20-13 loss against the Jets, listen, they've got to rebound here, and you've got the perfect patsy in Tennessee. But playing devil's advocate once more, I have to point out, the Steelers since the start of the 2012 season have 7 straight-up losses against teams that have a combined record of 9-36. Well, I think you know which category the Tennessee Titans fall in. They're one of those lousy teams that have repeatedly beaten Mike Tomlin's crew. But the fact is the Titans are in the midst of a 1-7 ATS skid. They're 0-4 at home this season. They're 0-9-1 against the spread in their last 10 games in Nashville. This is a team that blew a 25-point home advantage against the Cleveland Browns earlier this season. They're going with Zach Mettenberger, giving him his 3rd career start in his first 2. Yes, he has 3 touchdown passes, but he's also turned the ball over 4 times and has been sacked 7 times, including 5 times, by the Ravens last week. I think that you're going to see the Steelers and Dick LeBeau, who has just toasted rookie quarterbacks in his career as a defensive coordinator in this league for so many years, bring everything but the kitchen sink against his Mettenberger here tonight. Steelers 3-0, straight up and against the spread, off a loss this season. I think one of the keys for Pittsburgh tonight, though, they've got to establish the run. It's like they forgot to run the ball the past couple of weeks. 42 rushes for just 91 yards in their last 2 games. I mean, you got Le'Veon Bell back there. I mean, Titans are last in the league. Or actually, no, they entered the weekend number 29 in the league in terms of stopping the run, giving up almost 137 yards a game and 4.2 yards per carry. Titans, offensively, doesn't matter who's been quarterbacking them this season. They haven't been able to get the job done. They are dead last in the league starting this weekend in terms of 3rd down conversion, managing just to get that first down on 29.9% of the tries. So you have a Steelers team that could have been sitting pretty here at 7-3 if they had beaten the Jets last week, instead sitting at 6-4. That's a big difference. I think the Steelers rebound tonight, and I think they do get the win. Would I bet on them? No. But I do like the Steelers here this evening. An NBA free pick for you. I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks, even though this line has escalated a point now. You've got to lay 3.5 to 4 with Dallas here. Listen, everybody says the Mavericks, who of course lead the NBA in scoring at 109.5 points a game, are so much better at home than they are on the road when it comes to offense, averaging nearly 116 points on 51% shooting at home compared to 100 points on 46% shooting in 4 road games. But I beg to ask this question. I mean, is there something wrong with averaging 100 points on 46% shooting on the road? Don't you think there's 20-plus teams in the NBA that would kill for those numbers? Okay, the Mavericks, especially since they've beaten a bunch of cupcakes here lately, including Philadelphia and Minnesota in home routes, are averaging 15 more points at home than they are on the road. But still, 100 points a game on the road, it ain't bad, guys. It's not a bad sample. Tonight, you've got a Hornets team that gave up 97 points a game last year. This year, giving up 107. That's a 10-point differential you can't live with, I'm sure, if you're Mike Jordan. Dirk Nowitzki, Chandler Parsons give, of course, the Mavericks such a strong 1-2 scoring punch up along the front line. Al Jefferson's going to get his double-double here tonight, but, Tyson Chandler's going to make him work for it in the pivot. You've got a Hornets team that has really been crippled by injuries here of late. Those that have kept some guys like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist out the past couple of games with a foot injury. Others just playing through those nagging injuries like Kemba Walker, who has a back problem. Lance Stevenson, who is bothered by a groin problem. Gary Neal, who may not be available tonight, coming off the bench after he suffered a concussion in Saturday's loss to Golden State. Hornets coming back after a 1-3 road trip. Oh, FYI, Marvin Williams, their starting power forward, allegedly, just returned to the starting lineup, only played 15 minutes in Saturday's loss at Golden State. So I'm going to go with the Mavs. It's a cautious pick, but I don't think the price is extravagant, and I'll lay the Dallas 3.5 to 4 points in this one. Another team for the Dallas area, but this time in college basketball, I'm going to go with TCU minus the 4.5 at home against Washington State. TCU opened up with a 71 to 54 win at home against Prairie View. Well, you and 4 other guys could probably beat Prairie View. I will grant you that. But I like the way they dominated on the boards in this game. 50 to 25 rebounding advantage. 17 of those boards off the offensive glass. 10 blocks. 38 to 16 point advantage scoring in the paint. Now, did they commit 16 turnovers that led to 20 points for Prairie View? They did. But I want you to take a look at what Washington State did here against UTEP. They opened last Thursday night. As a matter of fact, or last Friday night, excuse me, and I used UTEP as a free pick here, and UTEP, a 10.5-point home favorite, rolled rather easily, 65 to 52 in a game they dominated from start to finish. The reason the Miners dominated is they used their superior size, and that led to a 46-37 advantage on the boards. Now again, tonight, Washington State, second game in Ernie Kent's latest coaching tenure, this time in Pullman, on the road against a more physical, bigger TCU squad. In that UTEP game, the Miners had a 17-7 offensive rebound advantage. Well, when you get out rebounded on the boards, period. When you get out rebounded on the boards, especially in the offensive glass, that means your opponent is going to get a lot of cheap second chance point opportunities. That's what UTEP did. I think TCU can do the same here tonight. Turnovers, Cougars had 22 of them. 22 of them. And this is a team that returned 3 starters and also had 9 scholarship players back from last year's squad. Again, I think TCU can take advantage of that, and that's why I like TCU minus the points at home in this one. So TCU, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are your 3 free selections for Monday. Go forth, make a lot of money, come back and watch me on Tuesday, and I'll see you then.